Hey guys, what's up? It's Yusuf, back again with another video, and today is going to be really interesting. So I put your headphones on, I get in the zone and really listen, because I'm gonna rock your world and also crumble your world. These facts, these statements have myths, proper annihilate the bullshit out of your head and in with the new and what you need to know. Okay, so guys, let's go. So I'm gonna use this shit. For decades, we've been told that fat is your enemy. Fat is the #1 contributor to heart disease, high levels of cholesterol, whatever the fuck that means. It's the creator of all "yo mama so fat" jokes. But in reality, especially with the new research that's been shown, that fat is not your enemy. It's actually your friend. And you know, this myth started from something back in 1977, a study fucking 40 years ago, and people are still clinging on to it now because the government's kind of aided that. It's called the McGovern Report, and it stated that, you know, you need to go on this low diet because fat was the #1 contributor to heart disease. Well, like I said, studies have now been shown that that was bullshit. But even back then, 1977, they knew that it was bullshit.
The report urged Americans to reduce their risk of heart attacks by reducing their intake of cholesterol down to the equivalent of about 1 egg a day.
You know, there were eminent scientists of the time saying this is nonsense. There is no good scientific evidence that either fat or cholesterol, you know, is at the root of heart disease.
I said to the professor that I was working with, you know, this is not right. Animal fat's not causing this, and this is not what the data says.
I have pleaded in my report and will plead again orally here for more research on the problem before we make announcements to the American public.
Well, I would only argue that senators don't have the luxury that a research scientist does of waiting until every last shred of evidence is in.
The McGovern Committee's report was written by a young staff member who happened to be a vegetarian and had no background in medicine or health research.
The government did what they always do. They put the scientists back in their place where they should be, as they said, and waved a bit of money towards them and said, listen, if you don't agree with the report, then say goodbye to your lucrative funds that you get every year, and you're basically going to get sacked. So what did the scientists do? Well, they had no choice but to agree with them. So that's exactly what they did. The science department knew that this McGovern report was bullshit, but they was left in a kind of a sticky situation. At the end of the line, what it means is the government don't give a fuck about your health. And who really gives a fuck about your health? Well, no one apart from you. So you should take your own life into your own hands and kind of, you know, make it your own. The sooner you kind of realise that, the better for you it'll be. You know, one thing you don't realise is it's all about corporations. It's all about the money. Money talks, regardless of people's health. For example, I make the most obvious state, smoking. We all know now that it's bad for our health, and we all know that it's basically killing us inside out, slowly. So why doesn't the government do anything about it? Why do they promote smoking? And why do they raise the money on cigarettes? Because they're trying to make people stop quitting? No, that's not the case. That's because the government are greedy and they want to get money out and milk every system that they can. Because the government make more money from taxing than looking at disease preventatives, or looking at disease management, or the NHS who later on cure the people who smoke later in years because they have lung problems or they have some kind of system that doesn't happen to work. And it's why? Well, maybe because you were, I don't know, intoxicating yourself every fucking day. Okay, we all know fat, and when we kind of think of the word fat, we kind of see it as a negative picture in our minds. But in all honesty, when you see fat, you shouldn't see it as a bad thing. You should see it as a healthy thing, because fat, or lipids scientifically, fat plays an important role in the nervous system called the axons. And what it does is something called myelin sheaths, which I've previously made a video about, that is basically fat. And it surrounds the nervous system to kind of insulate it and make the signals to the brain, to the muscles, more efficient. We have something called cell membranes, and the basic function of a cell membrane is to whatever, to protect the cell from its surroundings. So think about it like a gatekeeper kind of sense. It controls what goes in and what goes out. Fat helps with absorption of nutrients, increase in protein utilization. Fat, for God's sake, is called a macronutrient. A macronutrient, an explanation of a macronutrient, is something that the body requires in large quantities. Now, if fat is so bad for us, why the fuck is it called a macronutrient? Okay, the next one is cholesterol. Okay, what is cholesterol? Cholesterol is an organic molecule that is a waxy, fat-looking substance, and it's found in all living cells. Cholesterol is vitally important for our brain. Cholesterol acts as an antioxidant and also serves as raw material for later on the production of hormones like progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, cortisol, what else? I can't think of the top of my head, but all these hormones, there's more than that, but all these hormones have a vital play in the body. Also, vitamin D. For God's sake, 25% of cholesterol is in our brain. Minds will blow. I saw that guy's face on the Facebook post, and I thought I had to get that on the video. That guy's face is so funny. Minds will blow. Okay, the high cholesterol theory being bad for you is all a massive misunderstanding. It's promoted mainly to sell prescription drugs called statin, and they maintain or keep it check cholesterol levels so you don't, because too much cholesterol is apparently bad for you and has side effects to heart disease and strokes. Do not believe this. This is bullshit. The worst thing you can actually do is take something called statin, is this medication, and it fucking ruins your body. The side effects are atrocious. I'm going to leave the links in the description for all the newspaper articles that should pop up right now about statin. If you're taking statin, or the Scousers say, for the love of God, you need to stop taking them. This statin generates £32 billion a year for pharmaceutical companies. £32 billion a year. Just think about that for a second. Like anything, I like to back my information up with hard facts, science-based studies, and this study, I'm gonna show you the links in the description right now. I'm just gonna call it the study. Click on it, have a look. 2008 study was done on the elderly. It showed the best memory functions for the people with high cholesterol versus low cholesterol. And guess who won? The high cholesterol people had better cognitive skills, better memorization than the ones for low cholesterol. Low cholesterol has an increased risk of depression and in worst cases even death. So please stay fucking away from that shit. If you're one of them guys who has egg whites because of cholesterol in the yolk, then you need to sort that shit out and you need to go back, revert to the yolks. The yolk and the egg is one of the most nutritious bits of the egg. It has protein, it has salt. I have a video on salt and the importance of salt if you think salt is bad for you after the end of this video, so check that out. Also, they talk about the cholesterol. Cholesterol is not a bad thing. Cholesterol is a good thing. If cholesterol was so bad, why would our liver produce it and recycle it in a form of HDL? Why would our body do that if it's so bad for us? It wouldn't. Proteins, fatty acids like triglycerides. Our body needs all this, and this is a misunderstanding that people seem to have. All these are optimum for a healthier functioning body. So of course you've heard of HDL, this little guy here, and you've heard of LDL, which is apparently the bad cholesterol, this little prick here. And you know, to get down to the fact, HDL and LDL aren't even cholesterol, they're proteins. So let's break down what HDL and LDL stand for. Okay, so HDL and LDL stand for low density or high density lipoproteins. Lipoproteins, the fucking lipoproteins, for God's sake, they're not even cholesterol. They're proteins that carry cholesterol throughout the body to adipose tissue. And for the people who think low cholesterol is a bad thing, well, your body does not. If your body knows that your cholesterol level is low, it triggers to the liver and tells it that it needs to make more cholesterol, therefore maintaining the level. But like I'm saying, too much of anything is bad for you. You know, too much of protein is bad for you. You know, your body changes it into glycogen and then stores it as fat, sugar. And then if it doesn't have any way to store it, then it stores it as fat in the adipose tissue and the fat cells. Too much of carbs is bad for you. You know, we know that. We know that if you have too much of carbs, your body stores it as fat because it has nowhere else to store it. You know, too much is thinking is bad for you. You'll go fucking crazy. Too much of exercising. You know, all these things. Too much of anything is bad for you. That's my point. But don't let it believe that fat and all this is, you know, I shouldn't go near it because it causes heart disease. You know, that is not the message I want to send out. Also, saturated fats. Yes, saturated fats, like animal fats. We need saturated fats. It's good for us. Don't believe that it's not good for us. It's good for us. Fun fact, there was a study done on saturated fat, and the study showed that people who consumed a higher amount of saturated fat actually lowered the chances of getting heart disease. We've been told the fucking opposite. You know, it's been proven, there's been studies done on it, and I'm gonna have everything in the links in the description. If you're biased, if you don't believe me, like I'm not just saying this because I'm making this stuff up. This is legit backed facts. The worst type of fats you can consume are something called trans fats. Trans fats are in majority of things that you wouldn't believe, which are in junk food, biscuits, your probably favourite snacks, margarine. If you take fucking margarine, that's the worst thing you can do. Put it in the bin and get the proper stuff. Margarine is hydrogenated oil. Hydrogenated means it artificially has been injected with hydrogens to make a polyunsaturated or a monounsaturated fat into a saturated fat. Because saturated fat lasts and has a longer shelf life. I'm not saying don't ever eat stuff like that, like, you know, don't ever have a cake, don't ever have a biscuit. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Enjoy life, but be wary of these things. You know, about the monosaturated, polysaturated, saturated fats, they are good fats. Don't worry about them. But the trans fats, yes, have a clear mind of, you know, look on the labels if you're kind of on a eating clean spree, and on maybe like you eat healthy 6 times a week, and on the last day you like to binge. Like, this is what I do. And my cheat day, I eat anything and anything that I crave because I've worked hard for the 6 days, I've trained hard, and I deserve something that I want. Why can't I have something that I want? Who the fuck's gonna stop me? As you can see on the label here, it says no trans fats, but yet it says hydrogenated. But it says so it's kind of contradicting itself and lying to you. So that's why this is the best thing to do, is look at the ingredients of stuff that you're gonna buy and see if it's hydrogenated. This hydrogenated system increases shelf life up to 60%. So no wonder corporations are using it, because if I had a company, probably I'd use it too. Be in control of your own body, and only you decide what goes in and what goes out. When it comes to an artificial substance, our body doesn't know how to break it down into smaller molecules for our small intestines to digest and put it in a pack and shelve it off to adipose tissue. It doesn't know how to do that. So what does it do with unfamiliar stuff? It just kind of sits there and rotting away in our arteries. Not rotting away, because it stays there, and eventually you know, years after abusing eating junk food and shit, body can't take it no more, and then that's when heart disease actually does come in, or something else pops up and creeps up. And to prove my point, last but not least, I'm gonna leave a documentary link in the descriptions, just to give you a basic idea, because end of the day you might think, who the fuck am I? Why am I saying this? I have no authority, because people like to have labels on people, because if it means you have a degree, you kind of know something, whereas that's fucking bullshit. And if you think that, then you need to check that shit out and kind of unscrew the Frankenstein loose. I'm gonna leave a description in the I'm gonna leave the link in the description, and it's about the big myth about how fats was kind of like a no-no back in the 50s. Watch it if you want to educate yourselves, guys. You know, I'd really recommend it, and it gives you a better understanding as well, and then that will open doors for something else, like what else are the people lying to me about. And then yeah, like I said, knowledge is power, guys. Knowledge is power. So guys, that is it for this week. I hope I've kind of broadened your horizons in the terms of fat and the basic understanding of it, and really it's not your enemy, it's actually your friend. Until next time, guys, peace. See you later, data.